main results of this report. Basically, we found that the institutional setting for the private sector in Egypt is still relatively recent, 20 years or so. And it still needs some improvement in order for the private sector to be able to play the dynamic role that it needs to play in the economy in order to create the jobs that are needed in this country. The study benefited from excellent recent data by CAPMAS, and so we were able to look at the world from the point of view of firms. What we discovered is that there is a group of firms in Egypt, middle size, age 5 to 10 years, that is still a small sector, but it's a sector with very high productivity and with a lot of potential. And this is very promising. These are the lions of tomorrow that could really create the jobs that are needed in Egypt. What would it take for this segment to grow much more and to create more jobs? That was kind of the heart of the report. And really it takes two things. First of all, it takes more space for them on the market. They are competed still unfairly by very large firms that are not very efficient and that are not creating jobs and that are not innovating. So these firms need to be allowed to fail a little bit to create space for these bubbling and very productive middle-sized firms. The other problem that they have is that there is enormous competition against them by very small informal firms. And so in order to reduce this, rules that have to do with standards and taxes and the like have to be applied better on small firms so that competition from below, if you like, becomes a little bit more fair. So it's all about fairness. If the markets are more fair in terms of allocation of labor and capital, debt in particular, these small firms should be able to grow more and to create more jobs.
The main results that I want to highlight are from the work we have done on job creation. And in particular, I heard Dr. Ishac Diwan talk about the missing middle as being an important problem in the Egyptian economy, that small and medium enterprises are underrepresented in Egypt compared to other countries, and that's absolutely true. However, there's good news on that front, which is that this missing middle is finally growing somewhat faster than either micro enterprises, which are quite dominant in terms of employment, or large enterprises that have been dominating in the past. And so I think we do see that small and medium enterprises are picking up employment. And that's very good news, because they tend to be the more productive enterprises, and they tend to be also enterprises that tend to hire workers that are more educated, and this is something we need. Now, the other issues we find in our results is that the enterprises that are growing fast tend to be in industries that are related to distribution, construction, real estate, retail, transportation, not in manufacturing. Manufacturing, in fact, is growing quite slowly and is losing market share. The share of manufacturing went down from about a third of employment in private establishments to about 20% or 21%. So at the same time that small and medium enterprises are growing fast, they're not necessarily the ones in manufacturing that is growing. We are deindustrializing as an economy, and we absolutely have to reverse that trend in order for Egypt to be able to create good jobs, and especially jobs that can relate to exports and global markets.